Number two is, okay, this is probably the most challenging one. Create a trash bucket list. Now, this was a process that I started, about, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago after I realized that I was still totally not able to do everything that I wanted to do. So, and, let's be clear. I'm not giving up stuff that I want to do. I'm giving up a lot of stuff, but not everything. So, for example, we still, my wife and my child and I, we're still very committed to international travel. We have a camper, and we go down to Baja on surf and fishing trips. I go surfing in South America and Central America, mainly Central America, and I'm also looking to go to Portugal. And so there's still a ton of things that I'm doing, but there's certain things I'm not doing. And one of the things I'm not doing anymore is skiing and snowboarding. I made a conscious decision. So I grew up skiing in Mammoth Lakes, California. I spent several seasons there. I'm very good at it. I did it for 35 years of my life. I took up snowboarding. I was pretty good at that too. I really enjoyed it, but it's too much. The cost, the energy, the time. I don't want to say it's too much. It's something that I have consciously chosen to put in my trash bucket list. I'm putting it in the trash bucket list. So, not something I'm interested in. I am interested in it, but not as much as surfing. So surfing, kayak fishing, and boating in general, and hiking, and backpacking and camping, totally still interested in all those things. And they're a lot cheaper, and they're a lot more accessible for what I want to do, for my life and my time and my budget. So that is gone. So there's another wonderful book by Greg McKeown, I don't know how to pronounce that, McKeown, something like that, called Essentialism. And so the main point of essentialism is kind of the same thing. You got to narrow down what you're doing with your time and your energy. And I think this is the genius of what he points out. He points out that we don't want to feel the pain of letting something go. So a lot of times I hear about, people like, oh, so-and-so cheated on me, or, and then now there's a big bad breakup. You know why that happens? Usually it happens is because someone they've already left the relationship in their mind, and they don't have the courage to stand up to someone and say, like, this isn't working for me. I need to move on. And so they take an easy out. And that feels less painful to them. So it's more painful in the long run because it creates bad dynamics, which are going to cause your life to suck. But the point is that we resist the pain of letting things go. So there's other, Marie Kondo and the life-changing magic of tidying up. A lot of, that's gained a lot of popularity over the last 10, 15 years. One of the biggest stumbling blocks that people run into is that pain part. That's why she has a system where you start with the easiest stuff. You start with the stuff that doesn't matter, like junk mail or just things you don't care about. And then the last thing you do is like that box of mementos to try to figure out whether you should keep all of that stuff that you've had. So every time you let something go, it's almost like you're letting go a dream. You had a dream that was associated with that thing. For right now, one of the things that I'm struggling with is on my property, I inherited a fish farm, four tank concrete tank system that's for trout. And there's not a lot of water. There's not as much water as I'd like here for that system to work very well. But I'm really struggling with, like, am I going to let go the vision of having a fish farm here on this property? And it's painful. So that's the point. The point is to create a trash bucket list. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to, even though it's like I can't even really imagine it, I'm going to put on here fish farm. And you know what? it's too painful for me to put it in the trash bucket list. So I'm going to put it in the lost and found dream box. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, is going through this process and like, okay, I'm not focusing on it now. It lives in my dreams in the future, or it's completely out. And letting go and putting it completely out is the preferable item. So I'm just going to try this out for a second. I'm going to put it, I can't put it in there. It's not for me. I really want to do a little fish farm. Maybe I'll scale it back to just a little tiny fish farm operation. So you see the process? You got to go through the process. It's painful. I don't want to let that go. It feels like a little part of me is dying. But that is really the thing. You got to confront those things, and at least start to have a dialogue with those things, with those parts of yourself. All right. So how to focus your life. So number one, we have your lost and found dream box, where you're going to catalog all of your dreams. You put them in here, and then you're going to go on a trip like I did, or you're going to go somewhere and you're going to pick out your top 3, and then you're going to figure out what the most important one is for you. Now, I wouldn't recommend, like I did, that wasn't the first time I did it when I picked up the self-sufficient homestead one. You know, that's a 15, 20-year plan. I started with smaller ones and then worked my way up to a big one. And then 2, you're going to create your trash bucket list and try to figure out what are some dreams, some passions, some interests, some things that you can let go. It's also upgrading your relationship with death. I really think one of the dysfunctions of modern society is our relationship with death. You know, in the ancient Celtic societies, I'm reading a history of the Celtic people right now. And the Celtic traditions and most of the pre-monotheistic traditions, there was a much better understanding of the cycles of life and death. A much better, not understanding, acceptance. We all understand the cycles of life and death, but we want to sort of push it away. We want to push it away with technology, live forever, and, not even contemplate just the destruction that comes. It just comes. It cycles in and out. Destruction, death, darkness, winter, they're all, the God symbol used to have both sides, the destruction and the creation. And now it's like all we want is this creation. We don't want to think about destruction. But that makes us dysfunctional. It makes us disassociate from the totality of life. So let some stuff die. And here's the thing. When you let parts of yourself die, it opens up for new parts of you to be born, and lets you accomplish lets you accomplish those things that are really the most important to you. Not the surface level, cars and houses and, dates and, getting, having a harem or whatever your thing is, as a young man, I remember all those impulses, but that all fades away. All that really matters is the deep sense of purpose and fulfillment.